All right, so now we're going to look at going into Kimura from mount. Kimura isn't something that I actually hit from mount, but I use Kimura and the thought of Kimura from mount when I feel like I can't really get much going, when I feel like I can't get hands elevated above our partner's head. So we're going to look at how we can initially use an underhook or a failed underhook from mount, and then use it to dismount and go into all of our Kimura series from side control. So let's take a look at that. All right, so let's look at a failed underhook from mount, where I feel like I have an underhook, and I just have someone who's uber strong, who locks their hands, and they just have no intention of escaping, but we're just stalemated here. I can't get the hands above the head, and everything is kind of just stagnated in this position. So a lot of times I get an underhook, and you have guys who are just have like this retard strength, who just will lock their hands, and from here you just feel like you can't punch the underhook up. You feel like you have a shallow underhook, maybe even like this, and you feel like you just can't get it under. You can't get your elbow in. For whatever reason, you just cannot get an arm up and over the head, okay? Whether I have my elbow shallow or whether I have my elbow deep, it really makes no difference. The whole thing is that I have, the whole issue is that I have an underhook of some kind, and I just cannot get my partner's elbow over the shoulder to actually start with my attacks, going into karagatame, going into juji, going into any of my S-mount attacks and making things happen. Whenever I see this, we're just going to dismount. So right from here, I'm just going to swisher my legs towards the side of the failed underhook. So I just shift my hips out in one side, and I just use my legs to flick my partner's legs to one side, and then I swisher my legs out to the other. Right from here, we're going to use that shallow underhook to catch our partner's shoulder, and we're just going to pull our partner up to that same dorsal position that we had before. Where now my elbow's connected to my hip, when my partner goes to bring her shoulder down to the floor, it's going to be a very difficult thing. Now it's the easiest thing in the world to stuff my partner's head, switch over into a situation where we can lock up, and now lift, swim, replace, and we're ready to go, okay? So whenever I start getting good at mounts, and start realizing that if guys have their hands open, they're just helpless, they're gonna get finished, they just shell up and they're just holding on for dear life, and they just lock the hands, and they're not gonna do anything to escape because their hands are locked, but you also can't finish from mount. So whenever I see this, I just play here, okay? Now it's actually a liability for me to have my weight onto this side because my partner trapped my leg, she's trapping my arm, she can also bridge and roll. That's no good. So right from here, the second I see this, the hands are locked, and I feel like I'm not gonna be able to separate them. Right from here, we just go in, we just switch our hips, we swish the legs, we just knock our partner's legs and hips out to one side. And as we do so, we just swish our legs out to the other side, and then we pull our partner up into this position. And now right from here, you guys know what to do. All right, so another great option that we have is when I fail this underhook and I feel like I just cannot get my partner's arm up and over the head. She has her hands locked. Right from here is just to slide up and over my partner's bicep, okay? So right from here, because the hands are locked and the elbows are so close together, it's a pretty easy thing for me to just start inching up and going outside my partner's arm. So from here, she has elbows tight in like so. We just inch up and over, and we just start pulling our partner up into this position. Where right from here, I can just start pulling my partner's head and shelving it onto my lap and pulling my right, or my left elbow rather, up towards my left hip. Now, right from here, I can just fall into this position. Now, once I lock into this position, I lock my legs. I lock my legs like so. Now, the second my legs are locked like this, I just pinch over my partner's knuckles with my right thigh here. When she goes to extend out of this and bring her knees back inside, it's just my legs versus her hands, and there's just no way. And now, right from here, we just pull everything on through. We catch our partner's tricep. We feed this in like so. And now, right from here, we're going to lock Kimura. We have a perfect ability, right from this angle, to finish Kimura. And so right from here, we just pull everything towards us, and that takes the slack out of our partner's arm. And then now from here, it's just a matter of taking my left elbow and pulling it back in this direction. That gives us incredibly strong braking ability on our partner. Even if she unlocks her hands and locks on the outside, it means nothing. The angle here is so strong that the second I start back heeling, I pinch my knees together, I lock everything up with the legs, and now I just start moving, even so slightly, my left elbow out and start pulling with that grip. You notice that right here, if I put everything up, right here, she's on breaking point. And I still have all this motion left to go through. It's devastating, okay? So, right from here, the sailed underhook comes in place. Now, right away, we come through, we slide in. We shelf our partner like we're gonna go into S mount from here. But from here, we just pull everything on through and we land in this position. Now, right from here, we just go into a short underhook and we catch. Now we feed everything on through where I just pass my right hand over my left wrist, and now we feed the left wrist on through. Now we grab our partner's wrist, we grab our own wrist, and now we're ready to work. Right from here, the legs tighten up, knees pinch together, hips thrust forward, back heel comes in. I take my elbow out to my partner's elbow, I pull everything towards me first, and then from here, just a slight movement of the left elbow, puts her on breaking point, and we're ready to move into all of our finishes right from there. And that's a devastating angle that you have on that Kimura with that almost modified. It's not even really a triangle because you're not going to finish a triangle from there. It is a Shira Senkaku, but it's primarily, that angle is primarily focused on finishing the Kimura. All right, so now we're going to look at just using Kimura to move into some other different attacking positions from when we get our partners back. Primarily looking at to move into back triangles and go into trimores, and then just using it to move back to arm bars in situations where we just feel like the back isn't there, we can't finish from the back, we're just stalling, our partner's stalling, and we can't break to the defensive hand fighting. How can we move from attacking our partner's back and using Kimuras and variations of back, head, and arms that move into Kimuras to go into attacks, into other attacks, using other systems, and using the Kimura to move around my partner's body to get to those other systems. All right, so now we're just going to look at using Kimura to move from our partner's back into situations where we can go into the armbar. All right, so we're not going to look at using this from a situation where we have the overhook side. It's hard to free our bottom leg and get our bottom leg up and over. So we use this jet primarily when we have the underhook side and we're looking to start moving into Jujikatame armbar situations, okay? So right from here, we're gonna have a back, head, and arm on our partner, and we're gonna have this grip, which will eventually start moving into Kimura scenarios. So right from here, we're gonna look to start getting an angle so that we can get our leg up and over our partner's shoulder. So the easiest way to do this is just to move into a posterior mount where my left leg goes across my partner's hips, and then I can just start shimming my partner down and away like so. Where now from here, I can throw my leg up and over my partner's shoulder, and now we can start moving into scenarios where we can transition into this Kimura. So we use this Kimura grip now to start going in and attacking right from here. Now, from this position, we have a couple of different options. The first one is we're just going to look to return our partner's shoulders to the floor, and we're just going to fire our leg up and over, and now we're in Jujikatame, and we're ready to go in and go for our attacks. So if we see that for whatever reason our partner cleared a hook and our partner is looking to start escaping, or from here our partner is giving me problems, I can't finish in the back, we can use this Kimura grip and this back, head, and arm, this Kimura combo to just move and migrate towards other submission systems where we can go in and finish. And we can use the Kimura to start moving around our partner's body. Okay, so we're on the underhook side from the back, and we feel like we can't finish in the back for whatever reason. So from here, we move to a posterior mount, and we just look to start extending our partner away, like so, where we just extend our legs, we move our partner down and away. And we fire our leg up and over the shoulder. Most of the time, we're going to catch our partner's wrist like so. Now, right from here, we're just going to go in, and we're going to look to start returning our partner's shoulders to the floor, where now we switch to Kimura. Now, right from here, when she goes to bridge, her head's off the floor, so it takes away a lot of the power of the bridge. And then when we're ready, we just swish our leg up and over, we sit up, and now we use the Kimura, and we move effectively from the back into attacks on our partner's arm with Jujikatame. All right, so this time, we're going to use a similar setup where we use this back head and arm from the underhook side, and we start moving, either with this Kimura or the cross wrist system. Okay, there's a lot of different ways, obviously, to move to back triangle from here that we've looked at. But just using this Kimura, where from here we can use posterior mount to start making space. We can fire our leg up and over. And now right from here, we can either use the Kimura itself to start separating our partner's hands by using the inside post of my partner's wrist to separate our partner's hands like so. And now we can go into back triangles, or we can go in here and we can start using a cobra, where from here we look to start separating our partner's hands, whether we feed our leg all the way through like so, and then we get this elbow deep grip on our partner's wrist. We can start pulling our partner's hands up. We can use Kimura to separate our partner's hands, and then we can move into this cobra, where from here we pin our partner's hand up nice and high. And now we look to move into back triangle. All right. Right from this position, we're going to look to start tilting our partner up and over. By extending. We extend our partner, extend our hips, we extend our partner's upper body, and then from here we just swish our legs. We move into back triangle right from here. And then right from here, we've all seen with a bunch of other instructionals, we're going to sit up and we're going to go right into Kimura. So from here we just forward shifts, come up into situations where we lock Kimura, and then right from here the whole thing is, I roll my two wrists forward, and I just glue my partner's elbow to my chest, and I extend everything towards me, and that takes the tension, then that puts tension running through my partner's arm. Unlock your hands. You see here, there's a lot of motion that can happen before my partner feels anything. But when I roll the wrist forward and I get that hand lower than the height of her elbow, and I tuck that elbow in towards my chest, and now from here, I start taking my left elbow and pulling it. We get incredibly strong finishes with this Trimura, and we can go in and finish our partner very easily. So once again, we use this back head and arm, this figure 4 back head and arm, or we can just move to a Kimura altogether to go in and start separating our partner's hands. Once we get here, we want to get over our partner's shoulder, and then we're going to start elevating our partner's arm up nice and high so she can't relock them. Now from here, the whole thing is I just tilt my partner up and over to the side, and we just swish our legs to go in and lock Oshiro Senkaku. Now right from here, we just go in, play forward shifts, and now we have our 5 submissions where Kimura is one of them. Obviously, we have our strangle from here. We have our Kimura from here. We have our armbar from here. We have our American lock from here. And then we have our cow hand, our wrist lock from here. We have strangle. We have Kimura. We have Juji. We have American lock. And we have cow hand, the wrist lock, for our 5 submissions from Oshiro Senkaku that we can attack. And obviously the highlight here being the Kimura. Okay, we made it. It's only 5 o'clock in the morning, and Sunny finally made it. So we have about 3.5 hours, I think, of Kimura, and probably an hour to an hour and a half of tape studies. Probably 5 hours of footage here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. A lot of Kimuras from a lot of different scenarios. I'm sure there's some Kimura setups that I'm forgetting that I just am forgetting, and there's a million different scenarios where you can latch onto Kimuras and different transitions, and I just wanted to show you the main setups that you would normally find yourself getting Kimuras from, and then just really getting the idea of not just using the Kimura for submission, but using the Kimura to move around your partner's body. Once you start using the Kimura to move around your partner's body, to move yourself and to move your partner, and stop thinking about it as just a submission, it becomes a lot more applicable to you as an athlete, regardless of how big or strong you are. Gary is one of the best people at using Kimura to move around the body. He just locks on a Kimura, and next thing you know, he's on your back. He's on an arm bar. He's on your legs. He just moves from head to toe. He just uses the Kimura to just migrate across the body into different positions and different submissions. And so using this as a 2-tiered approach, where you use it, if you get the hand behind the back, you use it as a submission. If you can't get behind the back, then you just use it to threaten other things and move yourself around to either get to a better position or to get to other submissions. And that was kind of the staple of what we were doing here today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for always supporting. We'll be going over a bunch of different things next. I think I'm going to do some scrimmage wrestling stuff soon. I think I'm going to do a three-dimensional or three-directional guard, where I look at wrestling up into people. So a lot of new stuff coming, and ADCC's coming, and I don't know. I've won every scrimmage I've ever been part of during ADCC wrestling matches, and no, everyone just thinks I suck at wrestling now. So it's time to just shut everybody up, and if I'm healthy enough, hopefully do some scrimmaging during this ADCC. So we'll see how it goes. But thank you guys. Thank you to Ty for being here until 8 o'clock in the mornings. Thank you to Sonny for just yapping the whole time off camera, and to BJ Fanatics for always taking care of us. So thank you to the fans for always supporting. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Love you guys, and see you next time.